Where does someone actually go to find books written for adults? My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. The question is actually two separate problems, and I'm going to address both of them separately. It says, legit question, where do one even find good and entertaining adult books? They're all boring and no one talks about them anywhere. So we're going to ignore the typo and we're going to instead say that have two separate problems. One is that all these books are boring, and two is that nobody talks about them anywhere. But for both of those questions, you're wrong. I guess the first problem, that they are all boring, is subjective, so that could be true from your perspective, but by and large, that is just simply untrue. If you think all books written for adults, which is just hundreds of thousands of titles every single year, if you think all of them are boring, you might not like adult books. You might prefer young adult or even middle grade. But I'm going to venture and say that you just haven't found the genre or the subgenre that you are most interested in. And if you go through every genre and subgenre in the adult, young adult, and middle grade space, you just might not be a reader. You might not enjoy reading books, because out of hundreds of thousands of titles that have come out every single year for the last couple hundred years, I feel like there's something out there that appeals to you if you want to be a reader. Then when you say no one talks about them anywhere, I can't begin to imagine what it is you're referring to, because adult romance, fantasy, and mysteries get talked about online all the time. They are very, very popular. Even within book talk and within the algorithm, these get talked about all the time. If you are into something more like historical or literary fiction or women's fiction, those get reviewed in trade publications and in major media outlets all the time. The authors of those books get brought onto national news shows to sit down and talk about their new books. Same thing happens with nonfiction. Podcasts are constantly featuring people who have written new nonfiction in every type of subgenre possible. Now, if you are just allowing the algorithm to spoon feed you whatever it wants to spoon feed you, it's entirely possible that you are not seeing the type of books that you want to be seeing, but you have control over this. You can make the algorithm do what you want it to do. You can actively go out and look for the things that you want to look for. Follow librarians and booksellers on social media, or go out and actually go onto the internet, not the social internet that is in your scrolling apps, but go look in the literature and arts sections of newspapers and magazines. Go talk to real live librarians, go talk to real live booksellers, talk to other people, join book clubs and discussions forums on Reddit and Discord and wherever else people gather that are not the scrolling apps. When you are out buying books or looking to borrow books from the library or the Libby app or wherever it is that you get a hold of your books, don't let it sort by most relevant or most popular, but force it to sort by some other metric so that you are seeing things that are not just the top bestsellers floating to the top of the list all the time. But if you go look at the New York Times bestseller list and the USA Today bestseller list, it's pretty rare that you're going to see nothing but children's books on that list. Adult books make up the bulk of these lists, and they make up the bulk of the year-end list. Like, the adult market is the dominating piece of the market. If you think no one is releasing or talking about good adult books, that is quite frankly a you problem.